Let's all roll for our hobby. Let's all roll for our hobby. Oh, let's all roll for our hobby to get ourselves a crit. Tipsy's drunk as shit. Onyx loves to hit. Ooh, Roq's magic is handy. Toot Toot's music is dandy. So let's all roll for our hobby to get ourselves a crit. Let's all roll for our hobby to get ourselves a crit.
Come, friend, now lend me an ear for a tale of Victor the Weird. He went on an adventure with he, him, and himself, and also his mighty fine beard. Now gather round, I'll tell you about this mighty beast. He may look as human, as mere as you, friend, but soon your eyes will feast upon this marvelous creature with many body parts. His one shirt may fool you, but what if I told you his chest had 4 red hearts? One mouth but 1,000 voices, one mind and limited choices. 2 handsome dice, 2 handsome dice. The audience rejoices. He's going to play D&D with him, himself, and he. Those are his pronouns, it's really profound. It's time for D&D, featuring Victor and 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 Victor. One knows who knows how many repeats. So come and sit down in an empty seat. It's time for D&Me. 2 eyes, 4 cheeks, 2 souls on his feet. 2 hands for many new foes to defeat. 1 tongue, 2 lips through which to speak, but just one but.
Hey everybody, I'm Victor Rivera, and this is D&Me, where I play with myself. I play D&D with myself. Hello, welcome to episode 39, the most important D&D revision I've probably had on this show. Let's get to it. AU is safe and sound in room number 6. I got too worked up into it last episode and said she was in 5. No, Chainco is in 5, correct, but AU is safe and sound in number 6. We closed the door, we heard it lock. AU, the Dragonborn, the Gold Dragonborn wizard, is safe in room number 6. All right, so I just wanted to... Yep, that was very important to me and my audience. So that is the D&D revision, and then really the only other thing I have for D&D pre-show is that I redid my boys' robes right here for the banner, because in the last episode they looked meh, but look at them. And they have the embroidered lily patch on their chest. All right, so that's it. D&Recap. How are we here, Victor, at the Restful Lily? So, Bonnie, the doppelgang princess Misdirection, asked for my boy's help in finding and locating doppelgangers and shapeshifters from the kingdom of Anywhere, because the rivaling kingdom Nowhere are sending people into Waterdeep to find them. And they found so far the tutor, Sheen, who was in the Seven Masks Theater, and then we found the bodyguard, Tiffany, who was in the Yawning Portal, and now we are looking for the 3rd and last doppelganger slash shapeshifter. And after a possible way to find him being at the party in the Sea Wards thrown by the Grolhuns and the Castle Lanterns, then not wanting to wait until the end of the 10-day holiday 10-day, then my boys decided to use a paper bird to find him. They followed a paper bird to a book called The Price of Beauty. They went inside the portal behind the book, and they wound up in the Restful Lily bathhouse and spa. Boop. And after a couple episodes here, we met the 3 owners, who is Peggy and Morgana and Auntie Warmheart. And there's something up with them. And this place feels creepier and creepier. So now we are spending the night here, and the open missions right now are to find Silvare, who was the Silvare, whoa, Silvare, whoa, dun 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 dun. Mom, what's that song in the chat, please? Who was the previous owner but disappeared 10 years ago. Then we also have the mission to take Circumstance, who is the last doppelganger. He is a high nobleman, and back to Waterdeep. Safely escort him tomorrow. Valare. All right. Valare. That's a little Man on the Moon, Andy Kaufman, Jim Carrey reference for y'all. That character's name was... Andy Kaufman. But no, he's the other guy. Dang it. All right, well, Gypsy Kings has the version most know. Yep. Gypsy Kings are great. So, I don't remember. Don't tell me the name in the chat. This is going to be something I'll think about. Like, at midnight, I'll go, oh, okay. So, that's the chaotic D&D recap for a chaotic couple episodes. And now we are exploring a kind of horror theme. And the Kaufman. Damn it. How did I get myself... Silvare, that's why. Okay. Silvare, and then... Yeah. Here we are. So, my boys were just escorted through the hallways to their guest rooms by Auntie Warmheart, the third owner who is in a wheelchair and blind, led by her giant disapproving mastiff. And Tipsy and Onyx went into room number 6. Toot Toot and Roq are in room number 2, and AU is safely in room number 6. So, all right. Just want to... There we go. So, let's pick up where the doors just close. And there's a moment of silence. You can hear faint, tinny instrumental music that is becoming just even tinnier and fainter, and it's still going on in the background. And you try and focus on it, and it's just imperceptible. You can't perceive it. Auntie, what's her Delph, reminds me of the scientist in Nightmare Before Christmas. Ooh, yeah, that's a great reference. That's a very good creepy adventure. And this is cool because episode 13, D and Spooky, was, a one episode Halloween deal, but these past couple episodes have been growing creepier and creepier, so I'm enjoying it. Music is tinny, and Toot Toot and Roq they close their door, and then they definitely lock their door, and are just waiting. And then you hear muffled of Auntie Wormheart wheeling back down the hallway, and then her squeaky wheelchair gets more silent and more silent until it's just of the music overhead. And Tutu goes, okay, well, I guess we're staying the night here. And then tomorrow we will maybe look for Silvare, but most importantly, we should get Circumstance and get out. We should take him back to Waterdeep. Question for you, Roq. Yes, how may I help you? Does it say anywhere in that book on how to get back? Does it open up another portal and get us back through that way, or do we have to find another way? I also don't know where the Restful Lily is. I know that it is not in Waterdeep as far as I know. And then, Toot Toot asks Roq, do you have the map of Waterdeep on you right now? And then Roq goes, yes, I have it right I have it right. And then he's patting his robe, and then he looks up with a pale face, a pale periwinkle face at Toot Toot. Toot Toot, all of our stuff is still in the footlockers. And then we cut to inside Tipsy and Onyx's room, where Tipsy and Onyx closed the door and then went, "Whoa, it's a good thing they safely deposited AU across the hall in room number 6. And Onyx goes, "Yeah, hey, look at that." And then he points to, in the corner of the room, let's get them out a little bit. I forget that Tipsy has waddles and that Onyx has wishes. Nope, that Roq has wishes. So I'm like poking them out a little bit so I can see them better, because I'm the very visual guy. So if I don't see it on the map, and I have 3 posted notes now that say that Tipsy has an inspiration from a good joke earlier, and then Roq still has the bardic inspiration that Tutu gave him earlier, and then Roq also has wishes. So in terms of game mechanics, if Roq and Tipsy don't use their inspirations this episode, then they'll just fade away. But I want to give myself an opportunity to try and use them. But I've just been doing a whole lot of role playing instead of game playing, so here we go. Onyx points to the corner of the room, and then Tipsy goes, "Oh, that must be new. What is that?" And then he walks over, and there is a metal bucket on like this stand, and on top is a little, well, it's a chilled bottle of something, and Tipsy goes, "Is that rosé? Is that pink Moscato? Oh, look at that!" And then he reaches for it and goes, "Oh, well, hold on. Before I do, there's also a tiny horizontal pole in front of it. It looks like a mini bar. So, do I... Oh, man, because they said drinks were expensive, do I have to pay for it? I bet that's gonna be expensive, since it's in my room already. And it wasn't in the room beforehand. That's probably a bad thing, huh? I should probably not reach for it with my hand that is already in the air." And then Onyx pipes up from the corner of the room. Groner foul in the chat. Yep. And then Onyx says, "Well, Roq told us not to drink anything, so I'm fine with that. But Tipsy, don't drink it." "Well, okay. Here's the thing. I really want to drink it, but I also know that I shouldn't drink it. So, Onyx, if I fail this thing, slap me." And then Onyx slaps him. "What? No, hold on. If I fail the thing that I'm going to do, like, I'm going to stare at it for a little bit, and then if I reach for it, like, involuntarily against my will, then slap me." "Stop slapping me! Not yet! Alright, so I'm going to do a Constitution saving throw, because it's right here, and no one's around to stop me drinking it, except for you, Onyx. Please stop me drinking it. But also, I like drinking, so here we go." And then Tipsy's just gonna prepare himself and step up close to and he reads the label. Well, he will stare at it. And he will roll a Constitution saving throw to see if he tries to drink this. With a 17! A tense minute passes in room number 7, and then Tipsy goes, "Oh, the label says champagne. So yeah, that's gonna be super expensive. Let's not drink that." And then he turns around to see Onyx with his 2 hand axes, and he's putting them away hastily. "Oh, hey, good job for not drinking it."
"Thanks. What are you doing with the hair?"
"Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna lie down and... Oh, I'm just gonna lie down right here, I guess."
So, Onyx, like, takes a seat and then lies back down, and he goes,
"Oh, hey, there's a mirror above the bed. Why would you need a mirror above your bed?"
And then Tipsy goes,
"Oh, you know."
"No, I don't. Why would you need it? You're gonna be asleep, so your eyes are closed."
You don't know?"
No, I know that when you sleep, then your eyes are closed.
Oh, well, I'm. Yeah, hey, Onyx, you're totally right. I don't know why there's a mirror on the ceiling. Yep, I'm not gonna be the one to tell you. Maybe Rock can tell you. Oh, Toot Toot might. Well, no, he's kind of a square. He might be a virgin. I don't know.
What does that have to do with anything?
All right, so good night, buddy.
And then Tipsy jumps on the bed, and then he takes out Waddles from the pocket, who's already snoozing, and then curls up on Tipsy's chest as they're going to sleep. So cut back to room number 2 with Toot Toot and Rock. Toot Toot goes, "Oh shit! All right, we should totally get our stuff because, yep, now that you mention, I feel quite unprepared with just this robe and 5 items. Two of which are small health potions on my body. So, how do we do this? Do we? Again, they say that we have free range of the Restful Lily, but I really don't feel safe doing that. So, also, Toot Toot leans in close to Rock. I'm the only one in the party without dark vision, so, Rock, I don't want to do this to you, but could you go and maybe recruit Tipsy, and both of you all go down to the changing rooms and retrieve our stuff? Because that would make me feel a lot better than me thumping down there.
Rock goes, yes. Okay, I could use. All right.
And then he looks to his shoulder to the violet fairy dragon, and goes,
Wishes.
and Wishes this whole time has just been looking around with his serpent neck on this small dragon form.
Wishes. So, this is an opportunity for a little sneaking and stealth and possibly debauchery.
And then Wishes perks up.
That is what I thought, yes.
We can finally use you as Victor turns to the Wishes fairy dragon character sheet in my binder. Look at that. Wishes got all sorts of cool stuff that Victor never uses. So here we go.
Okay, so, and then Toot Toot.
All right. Okay. Are you done?
Just had a little grumbly in you tumbly, huh?
Oh, I know.
Oh. Okay, now you're being rude.
All right. There we go. So, Tipsy. Nope. Now I know how my parents feel. Of hey, Chudy, Mesquite, Greet, Miel, Van, Tori, Missy Foos, Purin, Zabu, Sarah, Angel, you! Boy with the beard. Come here. So, Rock goes, all right, Toot Toot, the 2 opportunities that I had to explore around the Plaza Grolhund turned out miserably, and for that I apologize. I want to try different things, but this time I will learn from my previous mistakes. So I will use invisibility, and then from what I recall, Wishes, fairy dragons have superior invisibility. And then dissolving on cue is Wishes into the air. Well, I can still feel him grasping on my shoulder, so it's good. Wishes, I also want to establish real quick before we do any sneaking and going up and down these halls silently and stealthily. If ever there's an opportunity or a circumstance, 1 tap is yes, 2 taps are no. Do you understand? And then Rock feels a pinching of talons on his shoulder. 1 pinch.
Excellent. All right. And wishes, if you feel the opportunity is right, then you can scurry off and do mischief. However, we are on a mission for our items, yes? One squeeze. Perfect. Toot toot.
Roq?
I will be back. Same for you. When I return, then I will have one knock at the door. Understand?
And then Toot Toot reaches for the door with a... There we go. That's good. Good Foley work.
Perfect. While I'm invisible, then I might not be able to do ASL or ASMR sign language, so we'll work on that. Ooh, but message, I can do message to you if I need it, which if I whisper a message, then only the intended recipient can hear it, so that's good. Oh, well, then I can communicate with wishes as well, so that's good. And then I will go down and ask Tipsy for his assistance. Hopefully, I know they still have some random bottles of alcohol from the Skewered Dragon, so hopefully they are not celebrating. Well, if they drink from their own supply, then I imagine then that is better than them drinking any tainted material from here. Let's go.
And then Toot Toot says, Godspeed, Roq. Godspeed, Roq.
Thank you.
And then Roq closes the door with an invisible wishes on his shoulder. And then let me check my notes to see if all of this is good. All right. Cool. Yeah, so far so good. Because I thought of that maybe 15 minutes after last week's episode. I was like, oh, they don't have their stuff. Their stuff's in the footlockers because they were a little forcefully escorted to their guest rooms. So Roq and Wishes are now in the hallway. Let's cut back to room 7 where Tipsy is dozing off a little bit, and then he can hear a mighty snore coming from the bottom corner of the room, and then some... Ooh! No, yeah, that's great. The first use of message, which is a cantrip. So then he hears Roq's voice in his head.
Tipsy, hello, this is Roq the Half-Orc Wizard, Roq the Purple. We need your assistance.
And then Tipsy, wow! Kind of like... It's jarring to hear that just in your head loud. Which, interesting thought, now that I think of it. Whenever you think in your head, it is always the same volume. So if you scream in your head, try screaming in your head right now. Say, I love D&Me, as loud as you can in your head. And then whisper, I love D&Me, as softly as you can in your head. It's the same volume. How creepy is that? So, Roq whispering, but it comes across as a stage whisper.
Hello, Tipsy.
Then it's the same volume.
And Tipsy goes, oh, golly. Okay, what's up?
And then another message.
Tipsy, all of our stuff, all of our inventory is still in the footlockers. Please come out here and help me stealth to it. Roq and Wishes. Oh, all right.
And then Tipsy gets up from the bed and pockets waddles. And then, like, cracks his neck with the 5 minutes that he laid down. And as he goes around this way, around the bed, then he, like, kicks Onyx, who, like, jolts. I knew someone who do not wake them up because then bad things would happen, just tackling and stuff. But Onyx, and then Tipsy goes, hey, I'm going to get all our stuff back with the nerd. So, here, you can have this. And then Tipsy will give Onyx the potion of Hill Giant Strength, which is good because Onyx is with an 18 plus 4. 18 strength modifier, which makes a +4. Angelito El Guapo says, amazing realization about the same volume inside the head. Yeah, right? Creepy, huh? You'll be drifting off to sleep tonight, and then you'll be, huh? And then you can hear, ha! Ha! All the same volume in your head. Anyways. So, Tipsy hands over, like, throws the potion of Hill Giant Strength, and then Onyx catches it. And blurry-eyed stares at it. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm going to be super strong. I'm going to save this for later.
Yeah, do it. Okay, so.
Then he opens the door to Roq and Wishes, who are right outside. All right, AU, thank you. I just wanted to. Okay, so Tipsy opens the door.
Oh, wow, you're right there, huh?
Yes, so it Roq whispers like into his hands, and then Tipsy doesn't hear sound coming from Rock's mouth, but instead from his head, and Roq goes,
Yes, hello, Tipsy. This is I, Roq the Purple. Are you ready to sneak? And Tipsy goes, hey, can you not do that? That's really unnerving in my head.
Right, yes, sorry. So Wishes is invisible, and so he pats an invisible fairy dragon on his shoulder. But we worked out a system. You and I have ASL, ASMR Sign Language, so just in case we need anything like that. But just real simplistic sake, one tap for yes, and then Roq awkwardly reaches down and taps Tipsy's head. And then 2 taps for no. Tap, tap. Does that make sense? And Tipsy goes, yeah. Oh, well, if you could do the taps back, well, you just... And then Tipsy awkwardly reaches up and, like, taps Rock's elbow that's still out. And Roq goes, perfect. Thank you. I just wanted to... demonstration of skilled learned. All right, so shall we sneak?
Yeah, let's sneak. All right. So.
How long does Roq's level 2 invisibility last? Because he didn't do it his other times. Concentration for up to 1 hour. All right. So Roq, before turning invisible, goes, yes, and Tipsy, we were on a previous stealth mission earlier. Last night? Oh boy, time works different, huh? Here. And you found yourself quite inebriated because of a leprechaun.
Yeah, his name was Buzzed, and I won. I tricked the motherfucker.
Right. So I would really appreciate this. Is it feels like a very important mission.
Roq, don't worry. I'm sorry about that again. But as a testament, there's like free alcohol, maybe. Like, I would have tried to charge it to Toot Toot's coin purse or whatever, but I did not drink it. Onyx can tell you, but
Tipsy puts his ear against the door and hears ruckus snoring.
Yeah, no, he fell back asleep. So I got you. Okay, let's stealth. Ready? 1, 2, high five. 3.
And then Roq reaches out and taps his head once.
Okay. We'll work on it. So, ready? Oh, what's that over there?
And then Tipsy points down the hallway to room number 3, and then Roq looks. And then Tipsy will use a bonus action to hide, cunning action to hide, and then he will roll stealth. So, a 14 plus 10 stealth. So a 24, then Roq looking down the hallway. I don't see any. Holy cow! You're gone. And then from behind Roq, up against this corner of the hallway, then he hears a voice.
Yeah, I'm really sneaky now.
Oh, you're right behind me. That's unsettling.
Yeah, so same thing with the voice in my head, all right? Not when I'm right here.
You're right. I'm sorry. So, we have an hour for this charge.
This charge of what?
And then, as if being splashed by water, then Roq is painted out of view.
And Tipsy goes, oh, that's good.
So, we have Wishes using superior invisibility right now. Roq using level 2 invisibility on himself. Tipsy with a 24 stealth roll. I think we're in good position to start moving down the hallway. No issue here. To the right, room number 6 has AU. Room number 5 has Chainco, the dwarf noble, with a wig and fake beard, who is working under room number 4, who is Circumstance, who is the shapeshifter high nobleman. And nothing yet. They go down the hallway and carefully, with the 24, then Tipsy will reach forward and silently open the door, and they go into the lounge, where they both can, actually, because Roq is now invisible. What a cool rogue pairing. I wouldn't have thought of it. But a illusion-based wizard. Oh. And then a rogue. So, looking over here, then they stop for like 10 seconds, and the wall sconces, the flames are out, and there's muted moonlight coming from the open windows, and it's quiet except for like a record player that's on volume 1, and it's just playing the song, but it's really kind of scratchy and you can't figure it out, and it's super tinny. It's very unnerving. But there's no one here, so no nameless employees, no other people. And then they walk over here. Let's roll for something to happen. So, yeah, let's see if anyone's out here. Anything could happen. I dropped my D8. Try to put it on my forehead. Being all cool. Because I'm nervous. I'm trying to cut the tension. All right. Okay. In my head, I have a number. D8. So 3. Oh boy, I said a 1 through 3, then someone will be out here. Let's bring out a nameless employee. Or, hold on. Nameless employee will be odd, saith will be... Okay, yeah. Nameless employee. Then, let's see, would they have opened the door? Yeah, so again, with Tipsy's 24 stealth, then they slowly open the door. And they're taking their time on this. They're being smart. Not any of this fast, like just throwing open doors. And then they can see, again, these are dark rooms, so one figure kind of like coming out of the garden and pausing. Ooh, yep. Monster manual. For no reason at all. And what is... sorry, hold on. Okay. Then let's roll. Ooh, great. Yep. It's perfect. So this nameless employee kind of just lurches out of the garden and then like looks to the front entrance of the Restful Lily and then looks ahead and kind of at the slightly ajar door that leads to the lounge, and then looks to the left and then kind of falls, throws his weight forward and goes past the desk here and down this hallway. And then Tipsy and Roq will listen. And yeah, this doesn't need a roll, but they can hear. of doors open and close, and then that nameless employee, for all they know, went to the bathhouse, but it looks like they are doing rounds. Whoop! Quick edit. A D&Re vision before episode 40. Tipsy goes,
Hey, take this potion of Hill Giant Strength and give me your key for the Foot Locker thing.
Okay. My key is to number 9.
Okay, cool, thanks.
and then Roq.
Okay, well, here I go. Toot toot, may I have your key?
Yes, just like myself, this key is to number 1, because I am number 1. Well, we all are number 1, because we are all victorious. Here, take another bardic inspiration.
No, I'm quite full on bardic inspiration right now. Thank you very much.
So they have everyone's keys. Perfect. Now, I have another very important role to do. And I just want to check my notes real quick to make sure. All right.
The suspense is killing me.
So, then it looks like only Tipsy is creeping forward. And then around. And then, yeah, this will be the last charge of this 24th stealth roll. Then he will, let's see, who would he would want his own stuff first. So he's going to tuck away right into locker number 10. And then, okay, that was a really big roll. And you all won't know what it is. So, Tipsy goes in, and then he's kind of flapping around with his robe, and then he has key to locker number 10, and then he goes,
All right, here we go, baby, here we go.
and then, yeah, he'll roll a sleight of hand to open the locker. +7, 14 + 7, a 21, and then easily, with a sober, practiced hand, then he opens the foot locker, and then all of his stuff is there. And Tipsy goes,
Hell yeah! Oh, shit. Hell yeah, baby.
let's see if Tipsy did too loud. I had in my head a 1, 2, 3 would be too loud on a D20, and he rolled a 2. So he goes,
Hell yeah! Oh, shit.
and then, oh, that's great. We cut to inside the bathhouse, and the nameless employee is kind of interesting. The nameless employee is doing like a lap around the pool, not getting anywhere close to the actual stairs leading down to the water. He goes up to this corner and looks left, then walks to this pillar and stares into these dangerous waters, and you can see a close-up of his face, and then like the pattern of water, you know, when you see like light reflected on the surface of the water, and so on his face that pattern's dancing on his face, and then he looks concernedly down and like frowns a bit into the water with the light that is bleeding in kind of foggy through these stained glass windows. So the nameless employee on the other side of the bathhouse, of the hot spring bath, rolled a 4. So his perception, he didn't hear Tipsy's outburst. Whew, narrative. You paid admission for the whole seat, but you're just using the edge. So Tipsy like, and then Invisible Roq, and so then Tipsy gets all his stuff. Tipsy now has all of his stuff. They will go to, let's see, what's next? Roq will go to his stuff, which is in locker number 6, stealthily. Nothing. And then go inside, use the key to the locker to open it up, and all of his stuff is inside, and Roq starts pocketing. Oh, here's an oopsie. Invisibility. You turn invisible whenever... when you turn invisible, everything you have on you, anything you're carrying or wearing turns invisible. But as soon as you become invisible, then anything you put in your invisible pocket is now, ooh, floating cup. So Roq, who lifts the first couple sheets of paper, realizes this. And then he goes, oh no. And so then he sticks his head out to see Tipsy. Where he would go to kind of like the ding 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 to number 9, and then Roq, oh, fart, and then Roq from where he is at his locker. Then he says in Tipsy's head with message,
Hello, Tipsy. I'm sorry. This is Roq. Did you get your stuff, the magically large backpack? I need it because I can't carry stuff when I'm invisible.
Then Tipsy goes, stifling a yelp. And then,
Yeah, I got my stuff. Hold on. I'm getting Onyx's stuff. What locker are you at?
And then Roq responds, I'm number 6. Toot Toot's number 1.
Of course, he's number 1.
Wait, why does... Oh, okay. I have on Toot Toot's inventory key to room number 2. And I was like, wait, what? Underneath key to locker number 1. So, okay. But Tipsy uses Onyx's key to open up the foot locker. And then there's all of Onyx's stuff, including a 4'5" ice anchor. And Tipsy goes, oh, jeez Louise. Let's see if I can fit this in my magically large backpack. 7. All right. In my head, it was 1 to 12. He could not. So he gets everything else in Tipsy's magically large backpack, and then just the comically large ice anchor is now just sitting in the open-mouthed footlocker, and Tipsy goes, shit. Okay, let me get everyone else's stuff next, and then we'll figure out what to do with you. Duh. And then Tipsy sneak over to the empty changing room that is number 6, and then he goes, all right, so Roq's locker is, and then boom, he bumps up to this invisible body, and Tipsy stifles another yelp, and Roq goes,
I am so sorry. I am also in this changing room. Yes, I can see that. Thank you. Invisible looks good on you.
thank you.
Wait, is that like I have a face for radio?
No, but that's very funny. What's radio?
And then it's kind of an awkward, like, shifting of Roq going to one side and then Tipsy going to the other, but they, like, both go the same way at the same time. And Tipsy goes,
I literally cannot see you, so you move first.
And then he feels a shift to Tipsy's left.
Thank you.
And then he takes the key from... Well, no. Since the key's invisible anyways, then the footlocker is already open. And Tipsy goes, all right, I'm putting all your stuff... Remember what you have?
I already remember.
Perfect. I'm putting all your stuff in my magically large backpack.
I couldn't get Onyx's ice anchor, so we're going to have to figure that out. Oh, dear. That is quite large and cumbersome, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Onyx makes it look easy. That thing's 2 times bigger than I am.
Right. Well, let's go get Toot Toot stuff first.
And then 6. Cool. Then Tipsy and Roq leave and then make their way to number 1 quietly and slowly. And the nameless employee is still not there, so Tipsy dips in. Tipsy dipsies in. Nope. To locker number 1 and then opens it up. Oh, Toot Toot has that big old didgeridoo too, huh? Didgeridoo too. That will be a lot easier because it's just like soda can width. It's just height. So Tipsy kind of has a bag of holding. I've never really addressed it, but he kind of has a bag of holding. Because in his campaign, he looted like a motherfucker. So I'll make this a low roll. With a 3, then Tipsy goes,
Okay.
he kind of puts his mouth to the curtain and goes,
So I can't get Onyx's ice anchor, and then Toot Toot's didgeridoo won't fit in my bag. And his instrument, I mean, he doesn't use either of them, right? The motherfucker, the 3-necked lute, and then the didgeridoo. He doesn't use them anyway, so I'll just tell him, like, I got everything else, because I did get everything else.
and Roq goes, that sounds fine with me, actually.
Okay, cool. So, what do we do about getting Onyx's ice anchor?
Well, see, I will lose my invisibility if, yeah, Tipsy's still inside the changing room. He's just talking through the curtain. I will lose my invisibility if I cast something to probably try to make it lighter. So we could just tell Onyx he might be upset. We should try, but I have some strength, I suppose. And then no, wrong die. Okay. And then the double doors open. And nope. The double doors open. And the nameless employee, with a natural 20, shit. So the double doors open with a clatter, and the like hunched over form of this very bland looking normal human is like kind of like leaning to a side and like hunched over, wild eyes, and is staring into this. Yeah, the door slammed open, and this hunched over form of this nameless employee must have heard some talking with a goddamn natural 20. And then Tipsy and Roq are stock still. Oh boy. Oh boy. Amazing. So the nameless employee then looks over to his right at cubicle number 5 and throws back the curtain to look inside. And then nothing. And so he releases the curtain and it falls back halfway. And then he looks to his left to cubicle number 6. And then both Tipsy and Roq are going, oh no. And then And then Roq feels his shoulders lighten. And then just a gentle breeze going across his face of some wind. And then Wishes is now gone. And Wishes, I will use the blue die to represent this violet fairy dragon. 14. And a 5. Okay, he had advantage, so that's good. Fairy dragon. 14 plus a 7 stealth. 21. So Onyx. Nope. Roq feels his shoulder lighten, and then with one bat of some butterfly wings, then Wishes is Come on. Let me just have wishes. There we go. Wishes is gone. And then the nameless employee steps forward. It's very good. Like, it's a trope, but it's so good it works. Like, there's a reason why it's a trope. And again, I didn't write any of this. So nameless employee opens number 4. And then right as he turns to his left to stare at the cubicle number 7, then this like oil slick rainbow breath with some sparkles is breathed into the air in front of the nameless employee's face. So that is Wishes, the fairy dragon, casting Euphoria Breath. The dragon exhales a puff of euphoria gas at one creature within 5 feet of it. The target must succeed on a DC 11 Wisdom saving throw, or for 1 minute, the target can't take reactions and must roll a D6 at the start of each of its turn to determine its behavior during the turns. Which I think will work. It doesn't say anything about anything. Yeah, cool. So, let's roll that. Good shit for nameless employee. Wisdom saving throw, was it?
Not his strong suit.
A 5! Mwah.
Delicious.
So then this employee... Oh! This employee, like, with a 5, notices the rainbow breath in the air with a sourceless origin, and Roq with an 8 perception, but he's super focused right now with a 9 perception. Should I use my bardic inspiration? No, that's not. Roq, like, really tight in these ferns right here, looking over at the nameless employee, sees the sees the euphoria breath, this rainbow disturbance in the sky, like this cloud just drift in front of the nameless employee's face, and then just because of the density just kind of fall and dissipate in the air. And the nameless employee, like, looks around, is now temporarily distracted, I'll say. Let's see. Wishes is now over here, just so that we know where Wishes is. But Roq in his head, because he's read about fairy dragons, yes. Roq has read up to the end of L, so the first half of the alphabet of the monster manual. I want him to read M through Z so that he knows everything about all the monsters, because I love that as a mechanic in the game. But now he only knows about half of all of the monsters in D&D, which is really frustrating now, 39 episodes in. So he will do that as soon as he gets out. But something about this nameless employee. He could not be charmed at the end of episode 37. And now something about, he failed his throw. He failed the wisdom saving throw for suggestion also. But yeah, so something about these nameless employees is up, and Roq is starting to put 2 and 2 together, but just not quite enough yet. So nameless employee has turned around and is kind of staring back at the entrance of the bathhouse, and then an invisible Roq. Tipsy is now just in the cubicle, and then he sees the curtain. Like, he heard the nameless employee going up and kicking 3 of the cubicle doors, and so Tipsy, waiting for a sign, sees the curtain and then one kind of punch, one hand into the curtain, and then it settles, and then Tipsy,
Okay, that's a yes.
and then he will go, and then he will use this. He will use advantage on stealth to sneak across T2. So that is an 11 and a 7. An 11 plus 10 stealth. So a 21. Then while the nameless employee is distracted, then Tipsy, and then hides over in this, in that fern. Just being up against that. Awesome. So now, what the heck? So we're kind of, nameless employee will do something. Should do something, huh? Okay. Nameless employee saw that the... Oh, yeah, so great point. No, I'm writing down in my scratch sheet of paper, no didgeridoo. No the motherfucker. And no ice anchor. Because, yeah, if I was them, which I am, I would abandon the ice anchor right now. So Roq, who's kind of keeping watch, then sees the nameless employee looking around fruitlessly, like eye level, and then, like, how would that work? Hold a second, please, everybody. This is a very important spell mechanic. And I need to think about how it comes to being. Okay. Interesting. A lot's going on in my head right now. Trying to figure out 1,000 things. So, a creature can... Well, then what's that number? I'm, again, using all my books for these episodes for this arc. Y'all can't see this, can you? Okay. D12 plus that number. Oh, that's not that bad. Okay. So, beat a 13. Roq. Fascinating. Okay, yes. Okay. So, this nameless employee is looking around eye level at the top of the curtains and then takes a swipe at the curtains. And Roq will use... 9 plus 6 investigation. Very good. So even though it's dark, then Roq on the other side of the... This is amazing. Roq on the other side of this hallway sees the nameless employee swipe at, hopefully not towards Wishes. And Roq, who's squinting, trying to look for... Oh, this is even better! Roq, who is now being trained to look for what is not there, sees the nameless employee's hands scratch just air. However, about like 8 inches away from the tops of the nameless employee's fingers, then he can see it connect, an invisible force connect with the tops of these curtains, and then shreds the tops of these curtains. So like 7 and 6, half of their curtains are like just dangling off of the metal hooks. So Roq, noticing that and then preventing a gasp from coming out, now knows that whatever this thing's hands are, it extends out about another 8 inches and are razor sharp to cut through curtains. That, and now knowing that, then Roq can squint more and sees like the face and the form of the nameless employee kind of like linger a bit, like almost having some delay and glitches, and is like lagging. That's a good term for it. So the normal, the bland, average looking human, like his form, his arm is there for a second and then like cuts. So like there are frames taking out, especially in this low light. So Roq now knows, being an illusionary wizard himself, that the nameless employee has on an illusion. So that's another clue into what's happening here. And then with that, then the nameless employee hunches over even more and then like looks towards the curtains of 5 and 4 and then interesting. Then Roq hears a tap on a surface, and then he turns around from staring at the nameless employee at the end of the hallway, and then he can see on the desk here at the front then one paper rustling, just like scooching over one and then just waiting a beat and then scooching over one. So he's getting a sense of like that code of 1. And so then Roq like goes to, he blindly waves his arms around the top of the desk and then like bumps into this scaly texture, and then like very silently and awkwardly, then an invisible Roq is kind of handling an invisible Wishes fairy dragon, and then ow, like holding a cat wrong. Then Wishes is climbing up Roq's front, digging his talons in a little bit, and then perches on the shoulder, and then Roq can feel the talons squeeze pretty tight, the claws on his shoulder, and then he starts moving. So this Lord Wishes. So now Wishes is back on Roq's shoulder, and then Roq. Well, let's roll. Okay. Roq cannot see Tipsy in this front lobby. So he goes over to the door to the lounge, and then he taps the door once. And then Tipsy is hidden too well because I rolled a 7 and a 14. So Roq's perception versus Tipsy's stealth. And then Tipsy emerges from the ferns and like mouthing, go, 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 go. To the door, and then the nameless employee. Oh, with another natural 20! No, what's going on? No! Oh, but I'm need to take another drink of water, huh? No! So, damn, awesome, great. Then the nameless employee is hunched over now, with, oh golly, like now the nameless employee is paying attention, and then something about the shuffling of papers and the light tapping, then the nameless employee whips his head around and starts going back down this hallway at a pretty quick pace. And then no, not everybody. Then Tipsy and Roq are in the lounge now. Tipsy will roll to hide. 13 plus 10. Woo, boy. I love them. High numbers. So, Tipsy. Ooh. Evens is yes, odds is no. Odd. No, 2 is even. So Tipsy will go into the lounge, and then having heard like hasted footsteps behind him, then he
1, 2, 3, whop!
and then he hops on the bar stool, hops on the bar itself, and will do an acrobatics roll to like flip in the air. Again, he has inspiration, so acrobatics is plus 10 also. So here we go. An 11 plus 10, 21. Yep. And so Olympic gym style, he hops on the bar stool, hops on the bar, does a forward flip, and then safely sticks the landing on the other side of the bar right here. And then the nameless employee bursts through the door of the lounge and will look around. God damn it. Roq should roll for stealth also, but he has advantage because he's invisible. So, let's see. Stealth is plus 2. That's not great. A 6 plus 2, but with advantage. A 2 plus 2. That's even worse. With an 8. Okay. So, Roq and Wishes are in the middle of the fucking room. It goes down to nameless employees. Perception. 5! What did I say Roq's first roll was? Like a 6 or something? I think it was 6 plus 2. Which is an 8 or something. Or added up to 6. But nameless employee rolled a 5. So, Roq, like, him and Tipsy, it's a flurry of limbs. Yes. Okay, good. A flurry of limbs, and then Tipsy jumps over the bar. More than 5. Yes, good. Okay, I thought so. And then Roq, like, is just chaotically looking behind him at, should I hide behind this fluffy chair or at the table? Should I go underneath the table? And then he accidentally bumps into this very last bar stool, and then it goes whom, whum, whum, whum. And then the door bursts open, and the nameless employee, whose last few steps cover up the bar stool, dum, 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 settling perfectly. And it's just, you can just hear the of the music. Can Roq can't cast anything, or else he'll lose his invisibility. Tipsy can cast something. I wanna look at Wish's sheet real quick, because Wishes action. Okay, so Wishes also with superior invisibility. His invisibility ends if its concentration ends. So superior invisibility is concentrating, as if concentrating on a spell. So any of his really cool magics, Not including the Euphoria breath, which is just a thing. Which, does he get that back? Recharge with a 5 and a 6. That's a 4. No, he does not get that back. So, Tipsy now. Ooh. Tipsy with some invisible magic. What would he do? He has Mage Hand, Legerdemain. He has Minor Illusion. He is hidden behind the bar. He knows Roq is somewhere in the room. He knows nameless employee just burst into the room. They eventually want to go into the hallway, so it would be a bad idea to throw something at T9, which is that hallway. It would be really dangerous to do anything into T8, which is that storage room. So, Tipsy will try and roll something. This is Tipsy doing a perception, which is great because he's proficient in that also, which is a +8. 15 +8 to 23. Then Tipsy actually will, behind the bar, he will look. He will peek his eyes just above the bar, and he is small enough, a forest gnome rogue, where the piles of napkins and the cup of straws, little fancy black straws, block most of Tipsy's face. So he can see that the nameless employee has been quietly walking around a little bit. And Tipsy, oh girl. Okay. With this, Tipsy doesn't know where Roq and Wishes are. He can see the nameless employee stalking, and Tipsy will cast Mage Hand Legerdemain, which is a cantrip. He is hidden, so there's no invisibility or anything. It's just pure stealth right now. And then let me just look real quick. With an invisible Mage Hand, then he summons it into the air above him, and then how far does it go? 30 feet. Whoo, girl! 1, 2. Here, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, each of these little squares represents 5 feet, so that is exactly 30 feet. Well, it's 25 feet. But that just works out great because Tipsy will use his Mage Hand, zoom through the air quietly, and then grab onto the handle to the door leading out from the lounge into the lobby, and then with a lot of force jiggle the handle and then throw open the door, and then clang on the back of its hinges, and then all of that's with an invisible Mage Hand, and then the nameless employee zooms back out into the lobby, and the door closes, and Tipsy Tipsy will sneak over really quickly. Just he's 2'10", so he doesn't have to sneak behind a bar. He just speed walks towards this end of the bar, and then hoping that Roq will follow, then Tipsy will just power walk over to to this little corner, and then turn the hallway, and then open the door with just one gentle knock, and then he opens the door quietly, and then goes into this hallway, where he will run. Oh, this is amazing. He will run to and duck into this hallway, and then roll stealth to hide beyond this doorway. So a 7 plus that 10 for stealth. Yeah, 17. Then he is hidden, and then he waits a second, like a rat's shallow breathing. He could have used waddles in any of that, but no. You know what? No, like everything everyone did so far has been great. They could do a litany of things, but then slowing his breath down a little bit, and then he hears, not in his head, but around the around the corner of the hallway. Hey, hi, I'm here. So Roq announcing his presence. So an invisible Roq is right here going, "Oh my gosh, that was terrifying, huh?" And then Tipsy goes, "Yeah, one adventure. So we didn't get the didgeridoo or the motherfucker or the ice anchor, but here's all your stuff." And then Tipsy starts unloading the magically large backpack of all of Toot Toot's belongings and Roq's belongings. And so you see this just giant armful of stuff floating in the air, and Roq going, I should have taken the key out of my pocket before holding on to all of this. And then Roq, you see him splash into view as his purple mage hand reaches into his pocket and then picks up the key, the room key, which Toot Toot did give him, to room number 2. And then the key floats in a magic purple hand and then unlocks, well, taps once the key to the door and then goes to unlock it, and then the door opens up with Toot Toot. Like, he wouldn't be out of breath, Toot Toot looking, huh? And then he looks in the hallway to see Roq with the big pile of stuff in his hands.
We did it.
And then Roq quickly goes into room number 2 with Toot Toot. And then Toot Toot looks out, into the hallway at like a sliver of Tipsy at like hiding behind the corner of the hallway. And then Toot Toot squints a little bit because he does not have dark vision. But yeah, he squints out into a dark hallway. And then let's roll just for funsies. Okay, cool. It was cool. I used both of these dice, which the black one, I roll for different dice every night, and the black one I chose for Tipsy tonight because shadowy and rogue, and then the juxtaposition of a light Toot Toot. So that was a 5 and an 11. Tipsy rolled a 5, Toot Toot rolled an 11, which is good because if Tipsy had rolled higher, then he's still stealth. But Toot Toot squints, and then his eyes like adjust to the darkness a little bit, and then he sees a sliver of a forest gnome rogue behind the corner of the hallway, and then tonk, like an arm and a tiny thumbs up pokes out into further on into the hallway, and Toot Toot goes, "Oh, okay, thank you, Tipsy." Toot Toot says, like extending out his trunk and then using the lips at the end of the trunk going, "Thank you, Tipsy," and then retreats, and then the door to room number 2 closes, and then Tipsy goes,
Holy cow.
and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. And then Tipsy,
Okay.
and then he turns around, and then with a natural 20, Tipsy with a perception check looks down the hallway, and then he sees a small figure at the door to room number 7. And the natural 20 makes sense because the small figure doesn't fit in with the shadows. It sticks out a little bit because it's like this small figure is wearing something kind of bright, and then Tipsy like melts into the shadows at this end of the hallway, and then is slowly creeping forward, and then with a natural 20, then he hears,
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Diddly diddly, there they are, standing in a row.
small, some as big as your head. With some metal clanging and some scratching at Tipsy's door. Then with that natural 20 perception, then Tipsy getting up to room number 8 sees this small figure picking at the door of room number 7. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I'm going to take, and adventurers, that is where I'm going to take my intermission real quick. What a great... Wow. So just to give y'all, I like peeking the curtain so that y'all get a sense of like how truly random D&Me is, despite me making everything all cool. Like, I rolled to see if anyone was going to be in the lobby. And I rolled that nameless employee was going to be in that lobby. So literally there could have been no one in there, and then they could have just gotten to their Foot Lockers fine. But no, they encountered nameless employee. So that's amazing. So, and then we had a really great, like, slamming the doors open to the bathroom stalls. Wow. Thrilling. Yeah. Take intermission. So I'm going to refill the waters and use the restroom. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Take it away, Onyx.
Victor went to take an intermission, so I'm here. For my intermission this week, when I meet a dragon, like a real big dragon, the first thing I'm gonna do is probably try and cut off its neck. I know it's got like a lot of neck, so probably closer to the base of the skull. Or, well, alright. It's either the base of the skull or where it connects to like the body. That's the best place to try and hit a dragon, probably. I have 8 seconds left. Okay. Well, remember that next time you meet a dragon. Okay, bye.
Hi, I'm Victor Rivera. This is D&Me, where I play with myself. I play D&D with myself. This is an actual play show 5th edition where I DM and play 4 characters of campaigns past. Hi, I'm Tipsy the Forest Gnome Rogue. We stream Wednesday nights on Twitch, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we throw the video up on YouTube Thursday mornings. And I have a rat named Waddles. He's cute.
I'm Onyx the Dwarf Barbarian. We do other stuff.
I'm Roq the Half-Orc Wizard. We do D& Artistry and Art Stream on Tuesday nights, and D&Me'd Like to Drink one Monday a month, where we grab a glass of something good and chat about how D&Me's going, answering audience questions, but mostly going on tipsy tangents. That's me! And I am Toot the Loxodon Bard. If you want to catch up with the current campaign, listen to the first episodes in their edited podcast form, which you can find on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor.fm, and others. And if you want to catch up even quicker, watch D&Recaps, where we summarize 5 episodes of D&Me at a time. And we also have D&Me Extras, which are fun little behind-the-scene videos. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and a bunch of other places where? On our link tree, that's linktr.ee/DNMeAdventures and like gnome. Thanks!
We're so professional.
Professional indeed. Welcome back. Yeah, amazing. Let's do it. So, Dodie or something in the chat says, great sneaky pants action, thrilling. And then Angelito Wapo says, Onyx, thanks for the hint. I will keep it in mind at my next encounter with a dragon.
Yeah.
And we're back on track, by the way, with the intermissions, because last episode I forgot, but I make 4 intermissions for every 4 weeks where I restart rolling for my boys' outros. So we're back on track. Next week will be Toot Toot, and then the last, whoever doesn't roll for tonight's outro. So we're good. Back on track, baby. So Tipsy, scooting forward, he will actually roll stealth. 19 plus 10, 29. So he gets very close to this small creature who is just singing to himself, muttering, and then picking at the lock, and then just chirping a little bit. Because what Tipsy, with a 29, who can get right up close to this thing, is he's seen something like this before, where it's a small bird creature, bipedal, except the ones he's seen before are pure black feathers. But this one, as he gets closer, he understands why it stood out so much from the end of the hallway. As he gets closer, he sees this small raven folk who, instead of midnight black wings, has pure white wings that the edges are like a little bit purple. Edges of each feather are a little bit purple. And then as he gets closer, then even in the dark with dark vision where you can't really see colors all that well, he can see a bright purple beak. This Kenku is just
I've got to. Why do birds suddenly appear every time?
as he's just working. And then Tipsy will cast Mage Hand Ledger Domain again, and the invisible Mage Hand goes over and grabs the tools that the Kenku is working on with that 29, and then, the Kenku looks down at his tools, and there's like sudden resistance.
Now what on blue blazes is...
And then just struggles a little bit.
I can't believe...
And then as soon as this Kenku like starts to gesticulate upwards and sigh heavily, then Tipsy with a grapple. Ooh. All right. Tipsy. Ooh, even better. Yeah. This flustered bird is just...
I don't understand because I've done this 100 times before.
And then an invisible force clamps down on this bird's beak. So it will roll... So I will roll strength against this Kenku and see what happens. That strength is 0. Well, great. Ooh. So Tipsy rolled for strength, which is +1. He rolled a 14 +1, which is a 15. The Kenku has a 0 strength modifier. However, it has 16. So by 1, then this Kenku kind of steps back and shrugs off the Mage Hand, which then clamped around its beak, and then starts parrot squawking, and Tipsy goes,
"Stop! What are you doing in front of my room? What? This is your room! No! This..."
And then Tipsy, shush. And then this almost albino Kenku, what? Like, is just perplexed by the sudden shushing and physical attack in the middle of the night in this hallway. And then, let me... Bop! Nope. Get him on the map. So then Tipsy is right up against it, and then the white Kenku is kind of shoved up in the corner, and then Tipsy's right...
What are you doing getting into my room? Yeah, going into your room? What? This was an empty room earlier today. Yeah, well, me and my friends rented it. What are you trying to break into the room? No, I'm not trying to break into the room. I'm trying to I am trying to replace the handle and the key, because earlier there was a little bit of like they told me to replace the handle.
And then with a 0 charisma modifier, interestingly enough, then Tipsy will roll insight to the Kenku's persuasion. Oh, shit. Tipsy rolled a 2. The Kenku rolled an 18. So Tipsy's like,
but we... But we rented it. But yeah, that handle was giving me a lot of trouble earlier, but then I used
the mage hand to pick the lock and whoops. You try to pick the lock? Well, no, because I have a key now. Look, I have the key. So, what are you doing? I am trying to change the lock. The owners, the mistresses, told me to try and change the lock. And then I was doing it in the middle of the night where everyone was asleep, but I didn't know because they don't tell me. They don't tell me that people move, and then we really need to reschedule. We need to work around. We need to have open lines of communication between the higher-ups and the employees. Wait a sec. Well, hold on. Shush. Okay. You're a bird. Yes, I am a kenku. Okay. But the kenku we met earlier only have, like, mimicry and can copy whatever I say. But you're answering my questions really well. Yes, well, I'm...
This kenku kind of, like, jolts and twitches a whole bunch.
Yes, well, I am now a kenku, yes, so... But, wait, okay. So, do you just have a lot of words in your word bank, or... No, I am speaking freely and eloquently, so thank you very much. Well, thank you very little. But, and who are you? And you are trying to... Did you try and break into this room? No.
Tipsy will use deception to the kenkus. Great. The kenku has a 15, well, rolled a 15 insight, which will be wisdom plus nothing. Tipsy rolled a 1 on deception.
No.
And just the biggest lie face. And the kenku's going,
Well, I apologize for disrupting your night. I got my eye on you, Force Gnome. Yeah, well, I got my eye on you, talking kenku. So, were you really trying to... Look, yes, I have the replacement handle and rock right there. And my tools. Look, these are tools to unscrew those screws. Yeah, that's kind of like using like a sledgehammer as thieves' tools, I guess. Because thieves' tools, like, you will remove the handle, which, that's interesting. I wonder if I can pick a lock by, like, just removing the whole lock in the first... Or, like, taking the lid off of the thing in the front. Again, you said picking locks and stuff. Yeah, well, I'm sneaky, okay? You didn't see me sneak up on you in the hallway, right? I did not. Correct. But you... All right. Well, I will come back tomorrow to change the lock, I guess. Well... can I go to sleep? Yes, I guess. Sorry, we got off on the wrong foot. But I hope you enjoy your stay here at the Restful Lily. Thanks.
and then they kind of just do the, like, Mexican standoff, like, rotating at an angle. The Kenku hugging up the wall to number 6 in the door, and then Tipsy going up against the door.
Okay, well...
Interesting. Hold on a second. Let me think something through here real quick. Tipsy will roll a 16. And I will use this bout of inspiration with an 8. Okay, whatever. Tipsy's inspiration. Tipsy heads towards the door, squinting at the Kenku who's squinting at him, and then he, like, fishes out his key and then reaches for the lock and goes,
What do you mean you're now a Kenku?
and then this Kenku's eyes kind of go from squinting to wide-eyed, like, Well, as you can plainly see, I am currently a bird form. And then he kind of lifts his wings, and you can see, yeah, there's the white wings with the purple outlines of feathers. And it's not an albino Kenku, because you can see his eyes are, like, darker. And he has a very pretty, kind of shiny, glittery, hooked beak. I am indeed a bird folk that you can see before you, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, well, that is simply what I meant. And then, like, twists again with discomfort.
Are you okay?
Yes, I just have to choose my words very carefully.
You said you're a kenku now, or a bird or whatever. What were you previously?
And then, with wide eyes, then this Kenku. That is a very good question. I was essentially the same person, he says, and then kind of, as the words come out of his beak, then he leans forward to see any effect. I maintained my personality and intellect and most of my eloquence.
Do you normally pick locks?
Again, I was replacing the hardware for the doors. So if you don't believe me,
No. I believe you now, but do you want?
Tipsy, you can hear the very tired hamster running on the wheel inside Tipsy's head.
Are you cool?
And then the Kenku leans forward. Well, leans forward and then pauses a second, then leans back. Are you offering me recreational drugs?
No, nothing like that. No, like me and my fellow, we're new here. Me and my fellow compatriots, we don't feel exactly safe here.
And then the Kenku with very wide eyes now.
We we don't feel safe here. We feel like there's
Tipsy leans his head forward.
something going on.
Very interesting. That reflects upon the atmosphere here at the Restful Lily.
Okay, so we're good guys. Are you a good guy?
I like to think of myself as so, yes.
Do you think the owners of this place are good ladies?
The Kenku's straining now. My personal opinion is that I don't think they are good. Yes. And the fact that they're not... And then his words get cut off, clenched up tight, where this very talky bird that... It's not a parrot. That would have been cool. But this very talky bird is like stutters. Well, not stutters, but just like lurches to a stop in certain conversations. And then Tipsy goes,
That's a thing too. When you do that, so you can only say like some of the truth or something.
The Kenku nods.
Here's the thing. What does Tutu do? Hi, I'm Tipsy the Forest Gnome Rogue. And you are?
My name is Glimmer. So,
Nice to meet you, Tipsy.
and then he reaches out, feathered arm, and then Tipsy.
Oh, yeah, no, here you go. We're shaking hands like two normal, small creatures.
Yes, we are.
Glimmer.
Glimmer? Glimmer, the Kingu, bird folk, raven folk. Tipsy.
Okay, so, like, so you're cool though. You seem cool.
Oh, thank you, Tipsy. Now that we have established a rapport, then I believe that you are as well, may I say a pure, kind heart? And then Tipsy.
Nah, not really. Some of the other people, well, I mean, I try. Like, there are some people in my life that I'm doing good for, so don't fuck around with me.
Oh, I have no intention of fucking around with you whatsoever. So, but why are, if I may ask, why are you here, at the Restful Lily?
Well, we're here to do some good for a client. But we're making sure that they are safe to go back home, maybe, or to go elsewhere.
And then Glimmer now like, oh, I wish to return to my home as well. Freely. And you get a sense that like he's trying out his words and seeing what passes through. Yes, if you could help my situation, I would also like to return home freely as well.
Well, don't you work here?
Yes, I am employed here currently.
Well, can't you just quit?
I would love to quit.
Okay. Oh, but you can't?
And then with one long white finger, then one long white feather pointing finger, then Glimmer like touches the end of his beak.
Oh, okay. So you can't quit. Oh. So like, are you forced here? Okay. You're forced here. Can you tell me what's going on? Well, I have some really smart people, but I have you in conversation right now. Okay, yeah. Keep telling me what's going on, because we're feeling really funky. Like, I was drunk earlier, but I'm drunk a lot of the times. I am tipsy. But you can laugh at that if you want.
Well, I'm Glimmer, and you can see my beak. Like, there is no window at the end of this hallway, but in the very, very, very low smolder embers of the scones, then you can see like a little bit of, sure enough, sparkle in his beak. So I just figured that we are named after things that we are here. And Tipsy goes,
I know. Like, I met a, well, who yeah, I know this person back in Waterdeep.
and then Glimmer does like a really sharp inhale.
Oh, Waterdeep?
Waterdeep was my home previously.
Oh, well, we're from Waterdeep.
Glimmer like really hints towards,
Oh, so you're from Waterdeep, but now you're here, and you're forced to be an employee, and you can't get away. Is that right?
yep. Glimmer manages to struggle out.
Okay. Oh, so what can you tell me?
I can tell you quite a bit, but unfortunately, when words turn to my situation, then whenever I try to describe,
Okay, well, this is kind of above my pay grade. Do you want to go to people who, well, okay, if you're cool, here, let's see if there's anything in my inventory that I can, like, because I have all my inventory now in this totally normal backpack,
he says. Ooh.
Tipsy goes, okay, here's the thing. All right? I want to trust you. You're a good guy. But I have a friend in here who I wouldn't have appreciated, and he certainly wouldn't have appreciated, but we didn't bring his main weapon back, so you're good for a little bit. But I'm going to go inside and then give him his stuff, but I want to make sure that you're good. Like, you want to get out of here, huh? Okay, well, you stay here. You need to do this for me to make sure that you're good, okay? Okay.
Will it hurt me?
Not if you struggle. Wait. It won't hurt you if you don't struggle. There we go. So, here. Do I have your consent to put on this D&Meridian shackle? It's just one, but it, like, cancels out magic and it holds you tight really quick. But then, I'll take it off, okay?
Okay, yes, I give you permission to shackle me?
Well, I mean, this is what I'll be able to trust you with for, okay? Just hold on, give me 2 seconds.
Okay, I will wait shackled and tethered in this hallway by my lonesome, awaiting your return.
Okay, well, when you put it like that, I sound like an asshole, but here.
So, Tipsy, who I have a lot of stuff in everyone's inventory that I don't use, but this situation calls for it. He has the last one D&Meridian shackle, just one, cancels out magic. So he takes out from his magically large backpack this, like, iron shackle that's kind of big for both. It's kind of big for both the forest gnome rogue and this white kenku. And then
Tipsy, all right, I've never really used this before, but...
And then he, like, opens up the handcuff and then closes it around and glimmers the ends of his feather fingers.
Okay, do you feel secure?
I feel more secure with you than my employers, yes, so I will be here. Awaiting your return. You're just going to be right back, right?
Yeah, I'll just be right back.
So Tipsy...
Stay.
And then he opens the door, and then he goes inside, and then he goes over to Onyx, and then he kicks Onyx in the side. Is it morning yet?
No, okay, so there's a Kenku outside. I think he's going to help us figure a lot of stuff out, okay? Here's all your stuff.
And then Tipsy throws Onyx's inventory at Onyx. Fire! And then Onyx... Where's my ice anchor?
Okay, that's one of the only things I couldn't get Toot's didgeridoo his stupid three.
And then, pinned up against the wall, Onyx is looking down at Tipsy. Where's my ice anchor?
Okay, I got everything else. I got your stupid, like, javelins and stuff. Your really big sword. I didn't know you had a sword. Your 2 other daggers.
Where is my ice anchor?
It's still in your your changing room, okay? We'll go back. If shit really goes down, then, like, I give you permission to just haul ass out of the thing and then go get your ice anchor and then come back.
Okay. And then Onyx stands up and then throws open the door, to which... good Young Frankenstein reference. So Onyx throws open the door, heading towards the ice anchor, and then sees the Kenku shackled together, just standing out in the hallway waiting patiently. And then Tipsy pokes his head out, and then the Kenku, like, slips one of his wings out of the shackle and then scratches his beak and then waves and then puts the wing back in the shackle.
Oh. What's going on?
As I was telling your forest gnome rogue companion, I can tell you just a little bit about what is going on, but there are certain limitations, so I can tell you right now if you want.
No. This one's not the smart one. Wait until we get to the other room, okay?
Hey. No, he's right. I'm brawn. Not brain. Huh? Bird brain.
Mm-hmm. clever. I can see that.
Glimmer looks at Onyx's vertebra around his beard and the bones and other trophies and hides dangling. I see that you are quite awesome movement of the bird in the shackles. You are an invaluable member of this adventuring party, I would imagine. Yeah, I'm invaluable. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, well, I gave you all your stuff, Onyx. Okay, let's go down to the two nerds. And then they'll figure something out, okay? Here, let me get that off you.
And then Tipsy takes the shackle back. And then with that, Glimmer says,
Oh, well, when you put those on me, I did feel like that was the most like myself that I have felt in a while. But still not entirely. I am still in this bird form, which I am in, for the present.
what's wrong with him?
Whenever he starts giving us any pertinent information, then he... But that's not true. Yeah, but I mean, it's like a plot device or something. All right, let's go room number something, okay? Don't remember what room we were at.
Tipsy's getting shouty.
Hey, don't remember what room we're at. But you're room number 7. Yeah, well, don't remember that. Also, forget room number 6, because a good person's in there, okay? You can remember room number 4 and 5, though. Because they're butts. Butts. All right. So, I'm locking up room number... doesn't exist, uh-huh. Are you doing spells at me or something? No, come on. We might be getting you out of here. So let's go.
So, Tipsy and Onyx will sandwich him and Glimmer. Glimmer's huge. Look at that token. Yeah. So, these 3 small creatures go up the hallway, and then Glimmer looks to his left to see room number 7, and then looks to his right to see room number 6, and then he nods in confirmation of okay, I need to forget those. And then as they're going down the hallway, then he looks to his right at room number 5, and then a understanding, but that one, and then room number 4, okay. And then Tipsy walks up to the to room number 2, and then he holds up 2 fingers to acknowledge room number 2, and then he points at his eyes and then at Glimmer's eyes, and then nods questioningly, and then Glimmer, I won't tell anyone you're in these. I didn't even know you were in these rooms.
Right, yeah, so forget.
All right.
Good. Okay.
And then Tipsy knocks once at the door, and then Roq opens it, and inside the all the lights are on, and you can see some of the inventory on both beds as Toot Toot and Roq are just going through their inventory and maybe talking about what has happened here tonight, and them talking about clues and shit. Excuse me. I need to drink water because Tipsy and now Glimmer are tearing on my voice. All right. So, Roq has opened the door. Toot Toot is over here in this very small room for 5 characters now. Wishes is on Roq's pillow. Roq opens the door. Oh, God. Roq opens the door and,
Oh, yes. Hello.
Hey, Roq. So, we caught this guy. Okay, we need to be quiet, okay?
But you're the stealthy one.
Yeah, that's right. I'm the selfie one. So, we caught this guy trying to break into our... No, he was actually changing the door knob or whatever, which was really bad timing.
It is so that everyone can continue sleeping.
Right, okay. Well, he's got some information about what's going on here in the Restful Lily bathhouse and spa. So, I want you guys to question him. Also, so that we all four of us get the same information at the same time. That burp, and then that burp were just water and not any alcohol. Right, Onyx? Right, Onyx. I didn't drink the pink champagne, right?
Oh, yeah, you didn't see it. And then there's also, hey, you have one too. There's a mirror on the ceiling so that we can watch ourselves sleep.
and then Toot Toot, who's putting his stuff in his bag, like perks up, going, "That's not what it's for." And then Tipsy enters into the room.
Okay, so here we go. Oh, go up, well, scoot over. Roq, this room is very tiny now.
And then Wish is kind of. I get a sense of Wishes acts very like a cat, and then also like those flying dragons in Avatar. So just like these bat-like wings scooting back as a lot of people enter the room, and then Tipsy like sits, I guess, on the nightstand in the middle. Then Onyx escorts. Just let me do my stuff. Yeah, Onyx escorts Glimmer inside, and then Onyx is like a bouncer at the door and closes it behind him. So now we're in this very tight room with so many people. But Tutu goes, "All right, so what's going on?" And then Tipsy says,
Okay, so, well, do you want to introduce yourself?
"Hello, I am Glimmer, the Kenku. Now, currently a Kenku." That's very strange wording for that.
That's what I thought. And then when I was going back in my room, I'm like, hey, wait a second, I should check this out further. I should further investigate. Because I'm a genius.
Tipsy points to his head, and then Roq, staring blankly at Tipsy, looks over.
Glimmer, the Kenku, yes. Please continue.
Well, I work here currently, although I really do not like it. And then, figuring out that he can talk to his own personal feelings instead of situations, then he goes, I'm currently in a situation where speaking on towards the situation is quite difficult, but I do not enjoy being here, currently working for 3 not so nice. Oh, that came out very easily, yes. Not so nice individuals. And I wish to go back to Waterdeep, which is what Tipsy was referring to before.
Yeah, I told him that we're from Waterdeep and he wants to go back to Waterdeep because he's originally from Waterdeep.
Okay. So how did you get in this predicament?
That is a good question. So, I came from Waterdeep. I was just...
And then the Kenku, like, rustles his feathers on his neck.
I came here looking for what the Restful Lily offers in terms of the magical treatments, and deciding that the outcome was not best suited towards me, I tried to stop the procedure from being done, and
some of this looks pretty painful through Glimmer.
I am now a Kenku.
Okay. So the magical procedures are bad.
Well, on the pamphlet, they say that they are good because they can enhance your abilities and change your outward appearance and give back youth. But it comes at a hefty price.
Financially? And then Glimmer dips his head with a knowing look.
You know that is not what I meant.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure. So, earlier, Auntie Warmheart, and then Glimmer, like, fruffles his feathers. Everyone takes note of that reaction. She said that the magical treatments would be at the cost of a small boon. And then Glimmer says,
I am currently small, yes.
oh. Again, these wordings are very specific and interesting. Okay. Well, what can you tell us? Because we are here for another guest. We want to make sure that their return back to Waterdeep is safe. And from what I gather, Tipsy investing in you and putting all of us into one room would not have been done if you were not a good individual.
Well, I appreciate that. I think so. And names, I'm Glimmer.
I'm Tutor Loxon Bard. That is Tipsy the Force Gnome Rogue, Roq the Half-Orc Purple, Roq the Half-Orc Wizard, and then Onyx the Dwarf Barbarian.
Pleasure meeting you all.
Yes, well, so you came for the magical treatment. Something happened. What were you trying? Ooh. And you are unable to speak of your current situation. Let's see if just... Can you... Well, obviously you cannot just tell us what you cannot tell us, but let's try and whittle down to filter what you can tell us. What did you come here for originally?
Bah! Well, I have a history of business
In Waterdeep, that is my past, and I wanted to enhance, well, not charisma for selling, but that is offered here.
But I thought to be taller in what I was previously would be an advantage for selling. So I aimed towards that.
All right. And were you even smaller than in Kengu before? And then Glimmer kind of like shakes a lot. Okay. Shakes his head and like it goes down his whole body and like his feathers are really poofed out now. So you were taller than you were now, but then you have lost some of your height. So that's quite interesting. And you are here not on your own accord, so you are forced to work here? Okay. Can you tell us more about... Okay, so let's just assume that answer is going to always be no. The three owners of the establishment currently, Auntie Warmheart, Morgana, and Peggy. Each of those is answered with a different shriek and call from this bird folk. They seem really out of place. They seem that their best intentions are not towards us, the clientele. Am I correct so far? And then Glimmer gives a careful nod. Okay. And then Roq actually grabs the attention.
Yes, so the employees here, we never got a name. They don't speak. Well, no, Marv. Marv is one name, but they don't speak a whole lot. We just caught one doing a night patrol. And I noticed that they are not what they seem to be either. Can you tell me what they are?
No. But I can tell you that, me, and then Glimmer gestures towards all of him. The employees are what they were before. What they are sometimes. And then kind of looks around to the room. Okay. What they are sometimes terrifies me personally on a feeling level. Me, I cannot stand the look of them. And that is by design.
Uh-huh. That is quite vague and cryptic.
Yes, I apologize, but this prevents me from... I will tell you, you rescue me, and out of the clutches of the individuals, and I will tell you everything. I promise.
Right, so, here's the thing. Also, might I point out that it is quite unusual to see a Kenku so full of organic words on your own volition and your own accord.
Ah, that is true. Yes, for a Kenku, this is quite unusual. But for others, it is not.
And then Tipsy goes,
I mean, trying to talk to him, like...
I don't know. And then Roq says,
well, when we had a confrontation with other Kenku earlier in our adventures, and because I had read that Kenku only communicate through mimicry and imitation, from what they heard, then I tried to teach them the alphabet, and then Onyx, very thoughtfully, taught them yes or no, and then that livened things up a bit. So instead of Roq knocks on the wall once, and then yes or 2 for no, instead of doing that, maybe verbally you are unable to express yourself, but how about physically?
And then Glimmer, like, tilts his bird head over to the side.
Continue.
So, if you are not able to tell us, would you be able to show us?
And then Glimmer looks thoughtfully down with his head at an angle.
Where? As in take you to their location?
Oh, well, that also may be an option if you are able to. It seems like you were able to express yourself quite well just then. But I meant more demonstrate. Toot Toot.
Yes, Roq.
As part of performance, there is a delicious and very underrated, I would say, exceptional, masterful, craftful art form of performance that uses no words, correct?
And then Toot Toot beams. Ah, yes, pantomime. It is really one of my favorite art forms. You can express so much just with your face. And it's such a beautiful visual media that to think of an audio form of it would be, quite tricky, probably. As Victor stares into the camera lens of the podcast. But Toot Toot then, yes, but it is absolutely one of my favorites. I knew a Celestial who taught me all he knew about pantomime. So would you like me to pantomime? And then Rock goes,
No, not quite.
if you could, perhaps,
Not demonstrate, but is there a way for Glimmer here to relay information to us without verbally telling us? Maybe he can do it physically, by physically hinting towards his situation.
And then all eyes turn towards Toot Toot, and Toot Toot says, "Oh yes, I would love to give it a try." All right, so Glimmer, after that 5-minute conversation that I had with you about pantomime, then now you know all the basics of this game called charades. It is a party favor. It is good with, locals, and when you're at a tavern, then it's more fun sometimes to be on stage and have them contribute like that. Anyways, so now you know all the basics for charade. Now, can we ask you some questions? And then Glimmer goes,
Aha, yes, you may.
great. What were you beforehand? Now, without using any vocalizations, act it out. Give us the word, or like if it's multiple words, then go like, 2, and you hold up 2 fingers, and that demonstrates. Tipsy.
What? It's just water. I didn't drink it, okay? Do you have any?
Then Tipsy looks around with a 13.
No, you don't. You guys didn't have, like, a very tempting metal bucket on a stand, huh?
No.
Yeah, me.
Thanks for the celestial reference to pantomime.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Poppy.
Angel. Because there's many pages about celestials, but I wanted to give you that angel reference. All right, so what were you beforehand, Glimmer? You are currently a Kenku, but what were you beforehand? And then Glimmer scratches his head with his, like, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Grinch, Jim Carrey, long feathered fingers, kind of.
Okay.
And then he holds up 2 long feathered fingers. Okay, 2. Two words, and then then Glimmer like gestures shorter. Like he puts his 2 fingers closer together. Okay. Not 2 words, but 2 syllables. Okay. The first one is then Glimmer uses his 2 fingers and touches them together, but has his hand horizontal and then tips his wrist towards his mouth. Drink. Coffee. And then Glimmer extends out his pinky. Which, for charades, I thought about it, and it would be fun if I actually roll to see if my boys get it. These are my boys. All right. Tipsy with a 17 and Onyx with an nope, and then Roq with an 18 plus intelligence modifiers, but I'm just going to go with straight dice rolls now. Well, Tipsy with a 17 plus intelligence. It'd be more wisdom figuring it out. So a 19, Tipsy with a 19. Roq with a 18 plus 1, 19. Both Tipsy and Roq at the same time go,
T.
T. In the podcast, that'll be cool because I'll layer both of those in.
Boy.
And Glimmer goes, and Tipsy goes,
Yeah, like Irish. Well, hold on. Yeah, coffee. Like, you can't put whiskey in tea, or can you? I don't think I've tried it before.
Okay, so the first syllable is T, and then for the second half, then Glimmer like pinches something and then throws it forward, like daintily, and then throw.
Toss?
Okay, nice. Toot Toot rolled a 16 plus 1. Onyx, nope. Roq rolled a 17 plus 1, 18, and then Tipsy rolled a 19 plus 2, 21.
Oh! Throwing, chucking, up chuck, throwing up. T, throw up. T, toss. T. Oh, you're kind of like a frisbee or something, like a saucer. T, fling. You're flinging. Fling, T, fling.
And then a muffled clap from Glimmer's wings. Oh, okay. So you were a tiefling, is that correct? Okay. You were a tiefling. You came here for height, was it? Okay, good. You came here for height. Then you underwent a magical treatment to get taller, but instead you got smaller. And then Glimmer goes,
For this next bit, I believe...
And then Glimmer kind of crosses his wings and looks down at the ground a little bit, and you can tell he's thinking. And then Toot Toot leans over to Roq. Well, Circumstance and Chainco both said that they are having magical treatments tonight, and that is why we are not able to get them out tonight. We have to wait until tomorrow, should we stop the magical treatments from happening. I don't... Oh, well, unless... Glimmer, real quick. I like the bird noises that I'm making. The magical treatments, where do those happen?
Well, I can tell you because it's part of the pamphlet and the sales pitch for being here. The medical treatments can happen in either...
Oh, he's randomly Irish, but...
it can happen either in the hallways with 2 wooden doors, right across, adjacent to the bathhouse and spa. Or they also happen... the actual event, the procedure, happens in the tower.
Tower. I just told Poppy I like the bird noises too.
Yeah.
And then Toot Toot. Oh yes, the tower. I did notice the towers across the path. There was the tower, and then what was the other thing?
The
Struggling with a word.
shrine? Shrine. The previous shrine to Seum, the goddess of beauty and love.
Okay, so the shrine and the tower, but the magical treatments happen in the tower.
Yes.
I would also imagine, because we explored pretty much all of the Restful Lily, the bathhouse and spa, do the 3 women live in the tower or the shrine? Glimmer kind of like tilts his head over and squints, kind of doing that. Well, do they not live in either of those?
The 3 owners of the Restful Lily do, in fact, live in the tower.
Great. 3 owners.
Yes, that I can say.
3 ladies.
Females, yes.
3 elven ladies? So they're not elven ladies. I'm trying to think of another bird song real quick.
Rockin' Robin. Rockin' Robin. No, Rockin' Robin. Because you're really gonna have rock tonight.
So are they bird folk as well?
No, But ladies is...
Okay. So they're not ladies, they are female. The nameless employee also is not who they say they are, but is a form of something. Glimmer.
Toot toot.
Toot toot. That's a fun one to say. Glimmer. Are they dangerous? Then Glimmer looks up and makes sincere eye contact.
Yes.
Oh, boy. I kind of figured as much. Glimmer, would it be best to go now while the bathhouse and spa is dark? Or should we wait for the morning? Also, what time is it? Does anyone know what time it is?
Glimmer goes, well, it's past midnight because that is the only time I can go out when they will let me go out. Because they don't like me seeing or being seen by the other guests.
Okay, it's past midnight. That's why... I mean, we rested a little bit Well, okay. They all went to their rooms, and it was early evening, but then they snuck around for a bit. So, technically, they did not get a long rest yet. So, it has not been 8 hours. And Tutu goes, well, I have a couple spell slots, and some of us are hurt. Victor already erased his limited resources page, so I don't remember what else. Because he did a beautiful D&D thing that everyone does, is he erased all of his expended spell slots too early. But should we wait for tomorrow in order for us to get a long rest? Or are we okay and Victor can just make up something? And then we could just head out. Oh, okay. So if that's the case, Rocky's suggestion also on the employee. I feel like Toot Toot spent a cure wounds or 2. He spent a bardic inspiration for sure. That's the kicker. Rock spent a relentless endurance. And then Rock goes,
well, I am better equipped. I have shield and mage armor now. However, relentless endurance was a heck of a thing, and then I spent 2 of my highest spell levels. So we could go now, and I would be limping a little bit. And Tutu goes, yeah, me as well. So should we stay the night here and just all of us keep watch? We could all sleep, I guess, in here, because in 7 there's only the one bed, right? Glimmer, could we drag the other bed in here? And Glimmer goes, no. Okay, it was worth asking. We could... blast. Glimmer, what say you? Should we go now? Or should we wait until the morning? So, Glimmer, we'll roll. What's a good die for Glimmer? This is Glimmer's die. Now, odd. And then morning, even.
17. Gentlemen, I say this with all sincerity. With a 17 being odd, I think they will not expect this. And if you do stay until morning, then they will have the upper hand. So we should go now. And then Tutu goes, all right. Gentlemen, gather your belongings. For we go now. And with that... oh, man. If I had voice for another 2.5 hours, I would play out right now. But who dogging? Well, that's interesting. So what a lovely episode. Thank you so much for watching. I am Victor Rivera. This is D&Me, where I play Dungeons & Dragons with myself. I stream Wednesday nights on Twitch at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I upload the video the following morning, Thursdays, on my YouTube page. Right? So exciting. Today's show will be up tomorrow, Thursday, May 19th, and next week's episode will be live Wednesday, 25th. Wednesday, May 25th. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and a bunch of other stuff. Where? On my Linktree. That's linktr.ee/D&Me Adventures and Like Gnome. And also, I am streaming video games now. So for Twitch, like, I'm wanting to try it on Thursdays through Sundays to stream more of Skyrim and Tina's Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. But I'm gonna get more up on video games and stuff, which is twitch.tv/D&Me Adventures and Like Gnome. I roll to see which of my characters gives tonight's outro. Excellent, Bobby says in the chat. Thank you. So, Toot and Onyx have gone. Roq and Tipsy, the two sneaky boys. Oh, I couldn't even say sneaky. The two sneaky boys. Wow, my voice is gone. So my two sneaky boys will roll. Let's see who rolls higher. So Tipsy and then Roq. Whoever rolls higher gets to go. Tipsy rolled a 1.
Man, your voice is dead, so no, I'm good.
14. Hello, I'm Roq the Half-Orc Wizard. Something was up with that nameless employee. That was not Marv, because he is a named employee, but let's see if, just for a roll, if Roq can put all of it together. Just right now. At the end of the night, a big old roll. A 9. And then, whoa! The Bardic Inspiration he can use tomorrow for next episode. I was thinking, like, they would go tomorrow, so I would have the Bardic Inspiration fade during the night. But since they're going now, 17, that Bardic Inspiration will fade in the morning. So, yeah, it's good that they use it now. Let's see, just to catch everything up, Roq, I don't remember what their hit points were. I think it wasn't bad, but Roq spent a Relentless Endurance, spent 2 level 2 spell slots. Toot spent 1 Bardic Inspiration. He has 2 more. The Charm, I think he did a Cure Wounds once or twice. So, oh boy. Exciting. Thank you so much for watching. That was Roq's whole thing. Nope, Roq rolled a 9, plus Wisdom a 1, so a 10. I don't know. I'm going to have to gather more information in the next episode. So, good night, sleep well, don't let the bugbears bite.